groovy.
So I'm Kurt Clendenin. I'm an actor. I played Reggie Griffin in Legend of Fall Creek, and I played his brother Alex Griffin in Black Pumpkin, and that's me.
I'm Ryan McGonigal, and I'm the guy who killed Kurt as Reggie Griffin and Alex Griffin in those movies.
I'm Dave Ushansky. I did an actor in both films. I played the sheriff in both films. Also a producer, helped Ryan out. Then also was pretty much did a lot of the casting for both films, which was really a lot of fun.
Cool, awesome.
It was such a cool process to be there for the casting process, because as an actor, you're on the other side of the table. You're the one who's like, am I right for the part? So it was really neat to be on this side of the table, and you just want people just to be committed to whatever it is that they're doing, not try to do what I think that I might like what they're doing. I just want them to do what they, to just like really be committed to what they're doing. And I think that's what impresses me most. And I think the people that we hired for these movies were, they had a point of view, they had a perspective, and they went for it. And it was, it was really exciting. We're like, these are the people we want to work with. They're good at improv, they're good at working off each other. And
we actually all did the casting part of it. I kind of coordinated part of it. We were all in the room. We all just decided kind of who was cast. It was really nice that actually some of the folks in part one, in the Legend of Fall Creek, we brought over to the Legend of Black Pumpkin, and actually we're actually taking some of those from Black Pumpkin and bringing them to our new film called Hitman. That's in pre-production now. And the idea is, why would I need a guy who has a Philly baseball cap on when I got you? I know you, man. You're perfect. So I can bring you in. So kind of in a vein of Kevin Smith, we want to keep people back and keep on working with them, the crew and the actors. It's really nice.
Yeah, once you find a crew, a solid crew. I know one thing about independent horror movies, everybody's there as a labor of love. Like you said before, they'll take pay cuts, they'll do this, they'll do that, and everybody wears different hats because they want to be there, So yeah, when you find a crew like that, pretty cool.
Clint Eastwood, same crew for like 50 years, literally.
Wow.
Every movie he makes, brings the same crew in. Crazy.
See, that's awesome.
They don't. He works like from 9 to 5, like a regular job. It's not in these late night shoots. Let's have like the shoot they have to shoot at nighttime. But for every, it seems like for every film we do, we bring a few people. We capture some of the gold, some of the treasures, and bring them with. And so we're slowly accumulating a very wonderful group of actors and crew, just phenomenal. And so as we keep on progressing, we want to keep on bringing those people in, and we're not going to stop. We're going to keep on going. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. What was it about horror that drew you into it? All of you guys, like, what was it about horror that made you?
Ryan, why don't you tell a story about how the whole thing started with the Halloween night?
There we go.
Oh yeah. So I was at a Halloween party in Uptown Whittier, and just happened to be Dave was there and Kurt was there, and Kurt was very, very drunk, so I'm sure he only remembers parts of it. But we were. I basically said we were drunk at a Halloween party, and it's like a Victorian home, and everything's decorated for Halloween. So I got this idea, like, hey, let's make a horror film. Like these two guys, Dave and Kurt, they made a film, and I saw it couple months. I guess it would be a couple months before we had that Halloween party. That they made a sci-fi film called Max Neptune and the Menacing Squid. And so it's sci-fi and it had CGI and stuff. And I looked at it from really not knowing what I was, doing. I said, hey, if you want to make money, make a horror film, and they're cheaper to make. So yeah, that kind of what started everything.
That was inspiration. So he said, I got a part for you. I got a part for Kurt. So we said, okay, we can do this. I said, we got to do the film SAG. And he says, I said, well, come to this SAG meeting. It's about how to make SAG films. And he came out to Hollywood. We went to it, and his eyes kind of glazed over. He says, you got to help me. So you got to be a producer, okay? So that's where it started. Kurt we've been doing this madness for the past, oh God, how many years? Quite a few. So it's a
Well,
we all
what
bring a
we-
different perspective to the team, I think.
when we did Legend of Fall Creek, it was under the title Bloody Bobby. And by the time that we actually got into production, we kind of lost control of the project. A producer kind of took over, and the director took over, and they really didn't know what they were doing. And we were kind of, we had this cool script, and we casted it, and then these guys come on and just change everything, and it really got to where they kind of just abandoned the film. So the editor and I had to sit and try to make sense of what we had. And we did some reshoots, and the best we could with like no money, and idea was to throw the grindhouse filters behind it and make it more of a grindhouse film. And and then we had a premiere, and because of the premiere, and we had a little bit of an excitement, that's kind of why we got momentum enough to do a sequel to a film, which ended up being Black Pumpkin. But when it was just interesting, it's like you just got to keep going no matter what, and just keep pushing. And who would have thought, like, when we started this, now we literally have like 2 Bloody Bobby films. So
yeah, I was going to ask that because I watched both of the films, and stories had like a couple of the same type things in them. So did like the Legend of Fall Creek kind of lead into Black Pumpkin?
right. So when we so Legend of Fall Creek was originally called Bloody Bobby, and when we got when we ended up doing we finished Bloody Bobby, and Uncorked had it, and I think it was Keith's idea, saying, well, if you really want a better audience for this film, you might want to make a sequel, and so you could package both of them together. And so when I started thinking about doing a sequel to Bloody Bobby, I basically just said, well, if we're going to do this, I'm going to be the director, because if anyone's going to fuck this up, it's going to be me, because it's really, really hard to sit there for a year in the editing bay trying to fix someone else's mistakes. It's it's heart-wrenching. And so when I did Black Pumpkin, I wanted to write it to where it could be considered a sequel, or like even like a reboot. So I was like kind of walking the line, really not knowing where we were going to end up with it. But when Triangle Road Entertainment kind of picked it up, and they started running with it, it slowly started getting momentum, and our budget went up a little bit too, compared to the first one. Now it still has its flaws, and everything, but I'm definitely happier with the way Black Pumpkin turned out over Legend of Fall Creek.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Black Pumpkin. That was a good movie.
Well, with Black Pumpkin, I wanted to do a little bit different with the pacing. One of my favorite films, even from a kid and as a filmmaker, is the movie Gremlins. So it's a little bit faster pace, a little bit more whimsical and funny. And that's kind of what I felt Legend of Fall Creek needed, because the killer is a kid. So we should kind of play around with that a little bit. And that's basically Black Pumpkin is just like my love letter to 80s slasher films.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's really good. Like, got a lot of different things going on. And I did want to ask though, it's something I've seen in a lot of independent like Halloween films. What made you want to like put Night of the Living Dead into the film?
It's free.
I knew he was gonna say that.
I'll be honest, man. It's public domain. All the movies that we showed in the background were public domain. Plan 9 from Outer Space, White Zombie, and the greatest public domain movie of all time, Night of the Living Dead.
That and Reefer Madness.
Yeah.
That's funny. No, that's because it's free. It's public domain, and it's a solid name. You know.
Well,
All those
you do know
yeah.
when you see Night of the Living Dead in the film. That's what it's almost like a filmmaker joke now. When you see Night of the Living Dead, oh, it's free. That's why.
Yeah.
That's funny. What was it about horror?
Horror for me is it's interactive. It's the audience. As a filmmaker, you want the audience to scream and yell and laugh. And if your friend next to you jump, you call him a pussy. You know, you want that interactive aspect of it. One of the things I tell people, if I had like a perfect audience, it would just be like 100 middle-aged black women yelling at the screen the whole time. I would absolutely love that. When we screened Black Pumpkin, when the audience would react the most. There's a couple scenes where the audience would react the most, and they're not even like big horror moments. You know, one of them's the punchline. You should have put away the lawnmower. When that got a laugh, I just felt so relieved. I go, someone got it. It only takes me like 50 minutes to set that joke up through the whole fucking film, but someone figured it out. And then the one that felt really good when the audience popped was when Reagan hits Bobby with the hockey stick.
Okay.
So she gets her horror moment, and she was a couple seats down from me when we saw the screening. I remember looking at her, and this cute little girl's like all bubbly because everyone's cheering for her in this audience. So it was really cool. Yeah. So yeah, it's that whole interactive aspect of horror, good or bad. It's the horror movie community in general I love because they'll back a low budget film and they'll back like a Conjuring film. And the main thing with horror movie fans in the genre, you just have to be honest to the genre. You have to make a film. Don't try to make a film like someone else's, like be a direct copy. Now you could pay homage to a film, but just own it. Don't try to make it something that it's not. And people love you, you know, like, look, you know, like, was it Spookies? That's still got an audience, right?
Oh,
Yeah, after all these years. You know. And I was the lone guy on that movie for years, man. Like I took a lot of shit. You know. So now everybody likes it. Yeah, whatever. So
it's got T-shirts now too.
Yeah, dude. They got. I'm waiting for some action figures to come out. You know? Hell, I dressed up like the Grim Reaper because of that movie for 2 years for Halloween. You know. So, but yeah, no, that's yeah. So you gentlemen, what was it about horror movies that kind of draws you towards them?
So there was a kid who grew up across the street from us, and in our family we had never seen any rated R films whatsoever. But the kid across the street, his mom, either she didn't know what movies we were renting at Blockbuster, or he just argued enough with her to get these movies. But I remember seeing like Friday the 13th at his house, and Nightmare on Elm Street, and some of these movies that like I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm watching this movie right now. I can't. I don't know if I should let my parents know or not. Or like I remember seeing the Thriller video over there, and that was a big deal. And I was terrified to just walk across the street after seeing the Thriller video over there, because I remember my dad telling me, he's like, "Oh, I saw the Thriller video." He's like, don't see that. It's very scary." And so growing up and just seeing these little bits and pieces over there, or like what was it? Was it Screamers, where the news guy, his head explodes?
Scanners. We just talked about
Scanners.
that.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
dude. I was like, I was so terrified, to see that. Like, I can't believe I'm seeing this right now. So I saw a lot of these rated R films over there, and it was a very long time between then and the next time I ever saw horror films. In fact, I would not necessarily even call myself a horror fan just because of that, because I'm watching horror movies mostly like this, just with my hands in front of my face. I will never watch any of the Saw films. Like, I'm totally not like a gore. What is a gore porn dude?
Yeah.
I don't want to see any. Yeah. That's what's so funny is that I'm working on these horror films. and I get to see these practical effects, and it's a lot of fun. It's like, oh wow, we're gonna make it some intestines now, or let's do this blood effect up on the windshield, and it's just like it's such a fun thing to see the behind the scenes. But watching an actual horror film is like a little tricky for me still, I think. I definitely appreciate those art forms. You know, the fact that like Ryan told me about on is it on Shudder, Ryan? The like the 6 hour long Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah, I
documentary?
made Kurt sit through Never Sleep
Yeah.
Again and the
Crystal Lake
memoir of
Memories.
Crystal
Yeah,
Lake.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then the Nightmare on Elm Street one, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I got to say, it's thanks to Ryan that I started cracking open more of these horror films. You know, I think working on horror films definitely enabled me to actually see more horror films because I was able to kind of watch it from behind the scenes. You know, I think once you work on movies, you can never watch a movie ever again in the same
Yes.
way as just a passive observer. There's no
Takes the
way to
magic
do
of
that
it.
because
Absolutely.
exactly, because you're like, ooh, I like that camera angle, or oh, I like that rack focus moment, or you know, ooh, there's the soundtrack coming in at just the right time. You know, you start paying attention to a lot more things. Or you're like, oh, there's that extra who just walked past them in the background this way, but now all of a sudden he's walking past it in this way. You start seeing a whole
noticing all
lot of
kinds of crazy shit. Yeah.
oh yeah, and so now I would say that I do appreciate horror films a lot more. So yeah, I think like Ryan's latest movie, House in the Middle of Nowhere, is really packed with some very startling imagery in there. So I can't wait to see what Ohala, right? James Ohala, our practical effects guy. I cannot wait. He's so excited. He's so excited to do some of these crazy things that Ryan has written into the script, and I can't wait to see how the heck he's gonna pull those off. You know, he just
When I did the Black Pumpkin, the producers kind of held back a lot of the gore, certain things that I wanted to put in, and so some of the knocks I got on Black Pumpkin was I didn't go gory enough. So this is like one of those hold my beer moments. Watch this.
my fear, yeah. Yeah,
No,
Ryan's
when
really
the effects guy's excited, that's a good sign. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and there's a plot to it too.
And for me, I was never really big on horror films at all. I remember years ago, I watched one of the Amityville horror movies, and it's like I still had nightmares. I still have nightmares from that movie. It's just like I get over it. So when Ryan was talking about, hey, we're gonna make a movie. Oh, great! It's gonna be a horror. I go, oh, great.
Oh shit.
But the art of, number one, if you're an independent filmmaker, is probably one of the best films to make, and then you can always go further from that. But I mean, because it's always the monster. You can do it on the smallest budget, and a lot of the horror films, Paranormal Activity is one of the probably prime examples of movies that you can make as a filmmaker. If you hit the right touch, it can take you off as a filmmaker, and you can really go far places. And in our film festival, we've got called Capel Film Festival. We've had it for 5 years running. We've had different categories, and something about the horror films they can be very creative, very interesting. You have something that's really, the really scary, the slasher films, or maybe something that can really happen in real life. And you also have the Hitchcock version, which I really love too. So Howard has so many aspects of it. And then Ryan got Kurt and I both in on Shudder, the network. And I remember having night. He said, "You guys got to watch this." There's a couple movies, if I could unsee what I saw.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh
so
yeah.
I made Dave watch Bloodsucking Freaks, and then we had like a viewing party, and I made him watch Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
That's
shit.
the one. That's the one. That's the one.
That's what I call a one and done.
Oh, yeah.
Once you see it once, you're good.
God.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
You know it's
over and over.
bad
Oh.
when Joe Bob Briggs shows it, but then he has like another version of that episode where you don't have to watch the movie. You can just watch him talking about it.
That's right. That's right.
But it does have, with all the gore and everything they do in that film, it does have a great ending. with
Yeah.
that guy walking
Very
out.
smart.
If you could get
Yeah.
through the movie and
Yeah,
get
Robert
to
Kerman when he
one,
walks.
oh,
Yeah,
that one last bit of dialogue, you're like, I get goosebumps when I see that.
Mhm.
So I
Who's
could
the
see why
savage?
that-
Like,
I
yeah,
could see
no,
why
that's,
that
that's good
movie
shit,
has
man.
a following.
I really like how we're evolving too, because we started off with a kind of a little movie about Ryan came to the idea, a little boy that got treated bad. He came back and kills everybody. But then Black Pumpkin was a more sophisticated film. It had, and both those films actually had humor into them. Now I like Ryan's direction because he has so many genres. You think horror is all horror films are one type of film, but there's so many different shades of horrors. And now this one, the Hitman, we're really, it's not going to be funny at all. It's going to be very hardcore, like Ryan said. I call my beer type moments, and it's going to be different. But what's nice about it, you can seamlessly go from one horror film to the other. And once you get like 4 or 5 films to your belt, the people in the know who actually going to maybe give you money, and the money makers and the production company, the distributors, are not going to say horror films. They're going to say they got 5 movies that were really good. And it's probably the easiest way for a good filmmaker, independent filmmaker, to break into normalcy and get noticed as a filmmaker. So I'm glad we're going off this ride.
And Dave and Kurt, you know, they're great to work with because they don't watch horror. So when they read one of my scripts and they get disgusted by it, I look like a champ. I feel really good about myself. They're like an easy audience.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's good.
Really funny. I've got little nephews, two nephews. They says, Uncle Dave, when you make these movies, aren't you scared? I go, it's so. Kurt was alluding to that making movies. When you see it on the side, of course, one scene takes like 5 hours.
Yeah.
But a lot of folks that are not really know how films are made, they think, oh my God, were you scared on set? I go, yeah, I was.
Terrified. You know.
Terrified. I don't want to come in.
For Bloody Bobby, aka Legend of Fall Creek, we shot that in 9 days, and
Woo!
so
Holy shit.
you had to be, it was like on a tight wire. You had to really be
tunnel
in
vision,
focus on that. And
Yeah.
some of us, like you're saying, some of us had 4 or 5 jobs. So when I wasn't on screen, I was helping out with catering, or I was helping out with, someone needed a light that was hanging or something. So we're all running around, and it's like you might be slap happy or a little sleep deprived, but you're like, oh my God, there's still that sort of like adrenaline going on. So like, oh my God, I can't believe we're actually doing this. Like, oh my God, I'm on set with Robert Miano. What the heck? This is crazy. And so that is just such an interesting thing too, because a lot of people, they think that, I mean, any number of opinions. Well, it might take a year to shoot something, or it might take a couple of months to shoot something. But it's like when you're able to do 9 days in a row of shooting a feature film, not just
That's
a short
crazy,
film.
man. Holy
It's
shit.
like, what the heck? This is nuts, dude.
Yeah.
And
At
every
one
day
point,
there were more locations. Oh, there's another location today. What the heck? This is crazy.
yeah,
Yeah.
in both films, we had a point where the art department worked completely straight through, and they're so exhausted, and maybe the rest of the crew and the cast got like a day off. The art department didn't. So when we shot Bloody Bobby, our Legend of Fall Creek, when we were up in Topanga Canyon shooting like the Madison House stuff, we finished early in the morning. The art department had to go down the hill and start making up the Halloween party stuff. So they're
Okay.
going, everyone who's on art department, like Kurt mentioned, like how his parents wouldn't let him watch rated R films. Like his dad was down here.
Oh yeah. My
Part of
dad
the
was
art
helping out with the
department
set
and-
decoration.
and
Yeah.
being extras in this. Yeah. So you're just totally done. And on Black Pumpkin, I was working 12 hours on set. It would take me 2 hours to get to set. And then I would stay 2 hours after my 12-hour shift. And then, setting up for the next day and then driving back home. And a couple times, people just started calling me that were working on the film. Like Dave, I think, called me one time. And then I realized that they were just calling me to make sure I didn't crash.
Yeah.
Like they're
Yeah.
keeping my mind active enough to where they were just sure, it was pretty brutal, but that's part of it. That's the fun part.
Mhm.
We
Well, yeah,
do
the
live in
brain
more
was
Los
fried
Angeles.
after so long.
We lost the film, so we Who's calling Ryan tonight? Make sure he makes it home okay.
Yeah. The insurance policy would just crumble if I like died in a car accident driving home for set.
Plus, what's fun is like, yeah, in those moments, you're like, oh my gosh, what's up, what's down, what's going on. But then, years later, you get to laugh about it and have these wonderful stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, here we now get to share this. Which, by the way, John Marshall, our production designer on Legend of Fall Creek and Black Pumpkin, John Marshall has been in the industry for years. I don't know if you guys remember I remember watching Batman and Robin, and there's that big neon fight in the alley. Remember, all the guys are all neon and they're fighting each other in Batman and Robin. Joel Schumacher. Yeah, he was responsible for that. So little did I realize that I'd one day meet John Marshall working on a set that I'd be working on. Oh, and poor John Marshall. He was the guy who was John Marshall, who did our production designs for those. He was the guy who was instructed to put the nipples on the costumes for Batman. Right? Yeah. He's like,
he claims it wasn't his idea because I give him so much shit for it, but I know he did it. he had his hands on it. He put
Give him some shit for me.
when he calls me, that's what pops up on my phone as his caller ID is Batman's nipple.
See, that's awesome. Now we have a nipple story.
Yeah.
Because for a while we had a bag of dick stories. So that was a lot of fun. So, but let's see.
But yeah. I wanted to say the opening kills for Black Pumpkin were like awesome. Is there anything you can tell us like about the first opening kills without like spoiling it too much?
Well, the when we finished, when we finally screened the first cut of Bloody Bobby, and we're going into Halloween, I started fooling around with the idea of doing a sequel, and I wanted to do it more. When I wrote it, I wanted to write it as if I was gonna see it on the screen. I want to put it so detailed that a director couldn't come in and like change it. And so I took my time on that. I played around with a couple ideas. I don't want to give away a certain amount of things, but the shotgun bit is like one of my favorites in the whole film, and that's the one when you're in a live audience gets probably the biggest like blowback type of reaction.
Oh yeah, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah. And that was my whole. I wanted Bloody Bobby to be almost like Home Alone gone wrong. And so that was that. But that opening 10 minutes or so in the film, that was kind of what we ran on to get a sequel made from there. And then we let the producers of Triangle Road kind of chime in on putting in actors from Abrams Talent Agency. And,
American Horror Story. What?
Oh yeah, we had the chick from American Horror Story. She was in American Horror Story 5. She played one of the tourists. She plays Sheriff Levitt's daughter. That was great, yeah. But it was close to production. It was close to the shooting the scene where I came up with the idea that I wanted Night of the Living Dead to bookend the film. And so I really wanted that opening scene to be the Night of the Living Dead opening scene to play during our opening scene, and then the final scene of Night of the Living Dead played the last scene of the movie. And so it kind of going with that pace was a lot of fun too, because that where we kind of directed things a certain way, but knowing that when we went in the editing bay, that was our score. So we literally had that movie to be the score to it.
Nice. Yeah, if we ever made a movie, I would probably jack some of that music too, because it's some of the best, man. And it wasn't even made for the movie, so that's awesome.
It has some of the greatest visuals that are just like in horror movie history. So you could just, you take that little girl in the basement and you throw her on the TV in the background. Everyone knows what that is. It just It's great.
That's cool. That's cool.
Where did the inspiration for Diablo's Den come from?
Diablo's Den. Okay, so when we came up with the idea to do the urban legend of Bloody Bobby, because goes back a little ways now. So when we decided that we were going to do Bloody Bobby, Kurt and I wanted to take it into a whole nother level and make it an urban legend.
Good.
And we did that. and so like hitting up Twitter, I think Kurt had like, how many accounts did you have kicked off of Twitter like in one day because of Bloody Bobby?
Yeah, if you go to bloodybobby.com, you can read all the newspaper articles about little Robert Maxwell, and so you can kind of see the seeds of
and use your favorite word when you research stuff.
the archives. The
The
archives.
archives.
Oh
And the
yeah, I love the
microfiche.
archives. Yeah, the
I like that.
microfiche.
That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah. See, Ryan was just looking through the microfiche in the library
So-
for urban legends.
But to answer your question, to do Bloody Bobby and have the urban legend go, I wanted to go farther back, and so I kind of picked a couple stories from like the Old West, and I kind of formed our own little thing with Diablo Sanchez and stuff like that. So the Diablo's Den thing was to have something that happened in the past, this almost like dark evil area. So things just keep reoccurring there. And one of them is that's where Bobby comes out to play. You know, he went missing there in 1988 and he comes back, you know, every couple Halloweens just to cause a bunch of shit. Yeah.
That's cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the whole idea with Bloody Bobby I liked was, you know, being a huge fan of Michael Myers and what John Carpenter did with Halloween. The one thing I think that how I could like pay homage to that without being a direct copy was I think a trick-or-treater is more Halloween-esque, you know, having a trick-or-treater, you know, do things. And I know a lot of people say that we were influenced by Sam from Trick or Treat, which is cool. But yeah, like that was not even on our radar when we did it. It was all pretty much, you know, Michael Myers. It was 1, 4, and 5 that heavily influenced everything.
You know, the funny thing is, I think Trick or Treat came out while we were still editing Bloody Bobby. I don't even think that was even a real thing yet.
I think it definitely came out, but I think it hit like its peak audience when we were because I tried to match this up with when it came out, and it was kind of like after we finished the first draft of the script and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know, Sam, I think, is underutilized in that film. You know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
If they
I
ever
see how like what people how they would see that, because like it's around the same like height and stuff like that, but that's about it. Like when it comes to similarities.
right. You know, you have a little kid, pretty much, or
Yeah, like he has a
little
completely
pumpkin
different
boy.
look than Sam, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. And I really like the second look with Bloody Bobby or Black Pumpkin as compared to Legend of Fall Creek. You could tell like the costume kind of morphs. So if we ever do a third one, you'll have a total different look since we pretty much destroy the mask in every movie at the end of it. So I want to see like more of a puppet type Bobby, like something where we get to see like fangs in a mouth and stuff like that. I think that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Frank Oz under the floorboards.
There you go.
Is there anything about the lawnmower scene to talk about? And the comic relief after that was great too.
Okay, so the lawnmower scene was when I finished the script was easily my favorite thing, and the producers tried to get me to cut the lawnmower scene. We trimmed it down a little bit, but it's very the way that we shot it. I kind of felt like it had an Evil Dead type of vibe, where just way too much obnoxious blood splatter at one point. But the what was interesting about that, it came at the end. The last night we were in Reseda, and we were already going on like 11 and a half, 12 hours, and the cast and crew and everyone was just dead tired. And we had to get it because we were moving on to different locations and all that. And so we had to tell the crew, we're staying around. We got to get this done. And so there's all that, type of thing. But once people started getting into that, we're shooting a special effects shot, and we're running over this great looking dude who used to date Kate Blanchett, right? Is that?
Oh yeah.
No, Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, yeah. Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah. So Matt Rife used that's like his claim to fame. He was dating like a 41-year-old Kate Beckinsale. But when we were doing this lawnmower scene, and now we're like, kind of torturing this guy, everyone got super stoked and super excited. It was almost like, I don't know, like this second wind. And I remember kind of taking a step back and watching all these people who are bitching like 20 minutes, all super excited and doing this, thing. I'm like, this is not a fucking adult job. This is like ridiculous. But everyone had like a blast with that. Yeah. And
I love it.
Yeah, and it was all camera angles. The shot of him underneath the blade was actually there was like a fan, just a regular fan you put in the window, and we took the grate off and we had it probably about 3 feet above him. It wasn't even remotely close. And we shot down through the fan to him, and we had a special effects person off camera flicking blood at him. And then he had like blood in his mouth, so he was like, and he actually started choking. He was really choking at one point, and we just thought he was doing like a really fucking awesome job. So when we took that shot to the editing bay, we removed, I think it was like every 5th frame to make it look jittery. So yeah, but all it is like, I think I was the one even spinning the blade. I was just like, it's going so slow. If you look at the real footage of it, it's very laughable. Yeah. Movie magic.
Well, it turned out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
At the end of that scene where the blood went on the windshield of the SUV the little boys run, we had one chance to do that because literally, we had to make it right because he had one shot when the blood would hit. If he had to clean it up, we had to do it again. We like I said, we didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
So the first one it looked beautiful. So we were very happy.
The lawnmower itself had a blood cannon in it. So we shot a close-up of the blood coming out, but the blood hitting the car was just us throwing a bucket of blood on it. It was actually, it was like, oh man, I think it was like 7 or 8 setups for that whole thing, and just edited a certain way to make it look like that.
Yeah, I love hearing that stuff, man.
Movie magic, basically, like all the different stuff.
So now when I watch it again, it's gonna that guy's really choking.
Guy's really choking.
We love hearing stories like that. Because like, unless you watch the extra features or even if it has them on the disc, you don't hear that stuff. So that's it's the good stuff. I guess tell people where they can find you, like Instagram.
Legend of Fall Creek can be found on Vudu. If you want to watch it for free, you just have to sit through some commercials. It's on Vudu right now, and in the next couple months, it's going to be playing on Tubi and Pluto TV on demand for a while. Right now, Black Pumpkin is on Amazon Prime, for a little bit longer, and we're also on the shelves of Walmart, which is pretty cool. Walmart ordered. What was interesting is we almost had like this Black Pumpkin scavenger hunt, looking for Black Pumpkin on the shelves of Walmart, and one of the ones that I found, which was out by me, Corona. When I went a week later, the second time, there was no more. It's going,
Oh,
oh shit.
awesome.
Like,
Oh wow.
so it makes you, yeah. So it makes you think like, oh fuck, like they probably only had like, 2 or 3 copies or something. And I asked the lady, I go, do you have Black Pumpkin, any more in the back? And she goes, no, we sold out on Monday. So that was a Thursday. So that previous Monday. And I go, oh, by any chance, can you tell me how many you had? She goes, oh, we had 30 copies. I'm going, oh fuck.
Wow. Wow.
That's awesome. That's like
Yeah.
great. I love that. I love hearing that people bought it and they're watching it.
That's awesome.
Even if they hate it, I don't care. As long as they're watching it, that's all that matters.
Yeah, people are gonna see it. So
Yeah.
that's
And
what a
then
day.
after-
I saw it going
after
around
our
like
fall
social
run-
media right before I met you guys. I was like, that's pretty cool.
After
Mhm.
our Walmart run, we're going to be on Tubi and Pluto TV for a while. And I don't know beyond that. There's a couple things that we're trying to squeeze Black Pumpkin into. Maybe somewhere special next Halloween.
Awesome.
I'm
Awesome.
not sure the camera can.
I don't want to jinx anything.
This is what it looks like on the Walmart shelves if you're your local
Take it-
Walmart.
No one can see it. Put it more on camera. Put it in front of your face.
Yeah. The other way.
More
Do
in
you-
front of your face.
Like,
There we go.
oh, there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
There we
Oh,
go.
There you go.
My close up. Okay, great. If you're at your local Walmart, this is a phenomenal movie. Go pick it up.
And usually it's sitting next to a horror film called Tooth Fairy. I've learned
Okay.
that.
All right.
It's a
No,
very
Oh
cool
yeah,
movie.
and sometimes next to Walking Dead too. I noticed.
Yeah, we're in some of the stores we're like above Walking Dead. I guess Walking Dead did another release of all their seasons and stuff with like new box art or something. Yeah.
I think
Wow.
they're also. I think both of them are still on YouTube as well. And
Oh, YouTube
possibly
TV
iTunes.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we're still on iTunes, and you can still get us on like I think Google Play and those aspects of it and stuff. And also next, hopefully by the ending of this year, we're going to be shooting A House in the Middle of Nowhere, which will be all straight practical effects, and the whole movie will be where looks like we made this decision. We will be shooting the whole film on an iPhone 13 Pro Max. So we're gonna make an iPhone movie.
Oh,
pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
shit, utilize it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty. When the DP, who's all technical, says we should do it, okay, let's try it.
Yeah, yeah. If your tech guy says that, we do the show on our cell phones. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It can be done. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly like the extra equipment you have to get for it, with the lenses and the setup and everything. But so far, it looks like it's going to be cost efficient from buying everything to what we would pay in like the rentals and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm excited. We get to make a film with an iPhone. We get to. I think it's cool that if we pull this off, we can actually tell people in the audience, like when they say, "Hey, what you shot? What camera did you shoot on?" We can all just fucking reach into our pocket and go, "This one."
So, yeah, who'd have thought, man? You could shoot a film
Yeah,
with the
that's
gizmo.
awesome. Yeah, it's great. I love the technology. Yeah.
Wow.
Back in the day when they had the film, used to have film. If they ruined the film, it cost so much money. But now we're really a golden renaissance age of filmmakers. You can make a movie with your iPhone, and so people out there who are thinking about it, going to write it and shoot something. And like I said, we have film festival. We've had Kapow Film Festival for 5 years. We're morphing into another film festival next year called Dos Lagos, and we're going to be on Film Freeway. And like if you have a short film, put it in there, because the filmmakers who actually when you see your film on the big screen for the first time, that changes. I've seen filmmakers change. They make a film, they've never seen it, and then they see it on the big screen with people. It's amazing. So I'm sure there's some filmmakers out there in
the film
definitely.
festivals that we run, we've tried to get it to where it's guys like we were, that we just want, we want our film to be up there, and we want to, bring our friends and family to see it, and to have a launching point for filmmakers where they feel like, oh, I can submit here and it's going to get seen, is pretty cool. Like Kapow will be going into our 6th year, and we're going to start the sister film festival, Dos Lagos Film Festival, which will be basically a year from now. So submissions for that should open up really soon too. So get your
nice.
guys' trailer, short film, or feature film made, and you guys will have a home.
Check out
Yeah,
the film.
you might get a trailer from us.
There
That's
you go.
awesome.
Please,
That's
yeah.
so good to hear.
You have like 8 months to get it to us. So
Not gonna happen.
the trailer.
pressure.
Phone up. Do it.
Casey, he'll be blowing my phone up and shit. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Yeah.
So real quick, so Black Pumpkin. So our Instagram is Black Pumpkin _BB, and we actually have a phone number, a Google Voice number. So in case you happen to see, we're collecting Bloody Bobby sightings. So if anyone sees Bloody Bobby out there, you can call us at 831-296-0887. That is 831-296-0887. So in case you happen to see Bloody Bobby out there, call us promptly, and we'll take care of it for you.
And that is an absolute trip when we start getting those calls coming.
Yeah.
They come out of nowhere, and it's so random and weird, but awesome at the same time.
Oh man, I don't know.
I think the last
can't
one
say anything about our
listened
viewers.
to
They might
was-
give you some shitty voicemails. Not
yeah,
shitty.
yeah, oh
you
yeah.
know what I
Like
mean?
the last one I
Like,
heard,
that was kind of weird. Yeah.
They spotted Bloody Bobby at like the parking lot of El Torito.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and also, if you want to check out more of the of the past of Bloody Bobby and how he came to be, go to bloodybobby.com, and you can check out all the newspaper articles that were put out in the in Fall Creek Valley.
See, I love it when movies have that. They have a built-in history, about the characters, and that's good stuff, man. I wish a lot more flicks did that.
Well, we plan to do. We started launching a website called Filmamite, filmamite.com, and what we want to do is we still own the domain name. We kind of stopped doing things during the pandemic, but the idea was to put all the films there. So if you had we'll have like a Bloody Bobby link where we'll have all the extra stuff that we've written over the years put in there, the fan art, all that stuff. And, we started working on some stuff with Route 666 and another action horror film we've been working with John Hennigan. What was Johnny Drip over at WWE right now. We worked with him on a film called Diablo Still. So hopefully we can get all this stuff up and running again when the world reopens for film anyway, filmmaking anyway.
Man, lots of content. That's awesome. But yeah. This is the worst part when we have to wrap the show up.
That's okay.
So, but
it's late for you guys, so you get it.
what a joy and a pleasure it was talking to you guys, man.
Well,
Like,
well,
sincerely.
thank you very
Thank you all
much.
for coming on.
Yeah,
My God.
thank you enough, man.
KC, and thank you so much for I'm like, what are your thoughts about interviewing us for your podcast? And you were just like, yeah, sure, that sounds fine. So thank you so much for I don't want to say accepting my invitation, but allowing me to saying, yeah, that's cool. I'm not offended by you asking me. So thank you so much. I'm so happy that this came about.
Well, yeah, no
You guys
problem at all.
Off
I
each other
mean,
too,
it's,
off each other. You have a really good rapport, and so it's made me very comfortable and still make questions.
Hey, love hearing that, man.
And
It's not.
if you guys ever do a show where you need a bunch of horror movie connoisseurs that could talk about Black Christmas and Halloween.
Yes,
on
it's
your
funny
side.
you said that. Because I'd like to do a fan commentary on Black Christmas.
Oh my God! When you're ready for that, you give me a call. I
Yeah,
can talk
okay.
to everyone. Anyone's
It'll
ear
probably
off
be
of
in
Black
December,
Christmas.
but yeah, I've been thinking about that for a hot minute. So
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite slasher flicks, Black Christmas. I fucking love Black Christmas.
oh yeah.
Yeah, don't let me. I won't even get started going down.
Yeah,
the
no, I
rabbit hole.
can't.
I'll save
Here
your-
for 3
I'll
hours,
save you
man.
on that
Like,
one.
fucking love the shit out of that movie. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you
Yeah,
guys for having us.
Thanks so much, man.
Thank you
Really
all.
appreciate
All right. Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Peace.
bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Take care.